Hi everyone, my name is Zuhan Pan, major in human-computer interaction. Today I'm going to suggest a VR game to address the challenge in digital game-based learning. In today's presentation, I have three parts to share with everyone. The first part is about the challenge in digital game-based learning, and the second part is the current example of digital game-based learning. And I'll talk about the advantage and the disadvantage of the application. Finally, I'll give a new solution. Similarly, I'll talk about the advantage and the disadvantage of the new solution, and I hope this new solution can help students and teachers. So the challenges. The first challenge I'm going to talk about is the balance between the enjoyment and effectiveness of digital game-based learning. Some games can be very informative and well structured, but they are not motivating enough and usually are called boring, dry, and technical by students. An analogy of this type of educational game is broccoli with Nutella on top, because they look like a game, but they're not fun games. However, on the other side of the spectrum, some games are not informative, clear, and challenging enough, which can reduce learning efficiency or even confuse and mislead students. This type of game is often criticized by educators because they introduce knowledge with a short attention span and not effective or even misleading due to a lack of depth and accuracy. The second challenge is an appropriate game design for specific content and user groups. The choice of game design is complex because it may involve game developers, educational experts, psychologists, and users, because users need to do user testing and interviews. The requirements of all stakeholders need to be considered, and the development of the game should consider both the learning materials, the audience, and the game design principles. Other factors are also vital, such as funding, marketing, recruitment, time frame, governmental and institutional guidelines, and costs. So the game should be ethical and suitable, and it is really challenging. Finally, the evaluation of the effectiveness of game can be challenging because it's really hard to measure if it's effective or not. And even though it has been proven by big data meta-analysis that digital game-based learning is very effective, but some of the authors raise concerns about the reliability and validity of some findings, such as time on task differences and validity of research instruments. So maybe people just spend more time on the game so they perform better instead of it's really effective. Then I want to talk about one specific example of the application, which is Prodigy. I only played a part of the game under the category of math learning for grade 8 UK students. I feel that it is a cute game, it's very engaging and well designed as a role-playing game. And the storytelling is really good, and the game is really cute because it's Pokemon-like and probably can engage many young students. The gamification is really successful because students can gain a lot of positive feedbacks from the game characters. They can gain points, they can get equipment, pets, and achievements by giving the right answer. But I think the game mechanics is very simple. That I don't see many innovations in terms of game mechanics, because the only difference between this game and other RPG games is that it introduces a new mechanics, which is answering math questions, and I think we can do more than that. Therefore, I want to suggest to introduce VR technologies in digital game-based learning. First, I want to thank Aravind for his brilliant suggestions on the discussion forum, because I only talked about a communication problem, but he provided some great suggestions to solve the challenges that I mentioned. I agree that introducing VR technologies can help us improve the efficiency of learning because it introduces some interesting and innovative game mechanics, especially when it comes to learning arts, um, geometry, and history. There are some advantages of VR as a learning tool. The first advantage is it is immersive. From a fictional work, virtual environment helps in shaping and recreating important things, along with providing historical context to the learners and the recreation of interactive gaming experience. So it is really good for learning history. Secondly, visualize abstract concepts. For example, when it comes to geometry, some complex three-dimensional problems can be easily visualized and played around with by students within a VR world. Finally, it's good for distance learning, and it is important during this pandemic. And the learners of VR who live far away from campus or students who have accessibility needs can receive quick and immediate feedback, and they can collaborate with others in real time along with the development of interpersonal skills. However, I can think about some disadvantages when it comes to application. The first one is it can cause physical discomfort. There is a growing concern about more subtle health effects of VR. Many people report headaches, eye strain, dizziness, and after using the headset. VR could accelerate the global epidemic of short-sightedness. The second is it can cause addiction to the virtual world. The possibility of students getting addicted to the virtual world is a big issue because we can see that video games has already been doing that, and pathological gaming it's never good. Finally, I think it's quite expensive and it can cause inequality in education because some people can afford it, some good school can afford it, but some poor people or schools in rural areas, they probably don't have the access of those technologies, so it may create inequality. Thank you very much for listening.